What's up, everybody? I'm back. We're back. It's episode 218 of the Dadbod Golf Pod. Happy freaking Friday. We're ready to rock and roll. We got so much to talk about. Tonight's episode is brought to you by BetOnline, the number one sports betting website in the country. Sign up today. Use coupon code BLEAV, BLEAV. Get a 50% welcome bonus. You can jump in on the Tour Championship. We got round one down. Round two's probably underway when you're listening or about to be underway. Jump in on a live bet. They got live betting on BetOnline, and you want to go probably can get some good value on Scotty Scheffler. Maybe get some. I don't know. He kind of ran away with it today. Maybe you can get some odds on him. Looks pretty safe. He could possibly run away with it for the rest of the weekend. Like I said, check them out. Use coupon code BLEAV. Safe. Get a 50% bonus. Have some fun. In the casino, all kind of lines, BetOnline's where the game starts. Gentlemen, I missed you guys a ton. I feel like I haven't potted in like a month, and a lot of stuff happened. I listened to you guys, the show you did for I think it came out Tuesday. It was great. It was great. The intro was awesome. Nate was about 100 episodes off, but the thought was there, the heart was there. And that's all that matters. I laughed. You guys are great together. I think I may be the weak link of the show after listening to it. I could possibly be the weak link of the show.
Totally agree.
Could not agree more.
Well
done.
And special announcement: Kyle is retiring from the Dadbod Golf
This
Pod.
actually will be my last episode. Happy Friday. See you later, Dadbod Golf Pod.
Yep. Kyle is about to be out, and me and Ben will discuss the FedEx Cup playoffs.
So I was on my 10-year anniversary trip. There was very little golf talk whatsoever. Very little golf watching. Just all inclusive stuff was what was going on. So had a blast. Glad to be back.
It's already freezing.
And whenever we got back, all the news started dropping about the results of this PGA meeting. What we're going to do to change the PGA Tour in response to the Live Tour. And what we want to do is educate you so you are totally aware of everything that's going on and how it's going to.
Very loose term.
What's that?
Education. Very loose term.
Very loosely.
Unlike the education in this country.
But there's a good article on golf.com, breaks it down. We're going to go through it. I think there's 12 different items that they listed, and we're going to break it down and just go through it. And then we're going to have some takes on the end, react, whatever. It should be a lot of fun. So y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
cool. Let's
dive in there, Kyle.
I'm ready to dive in. So
get in there, buddy.
number one is we now have official quote unquote top players. So they've made this designation of what they call top players. And a top player will be defined as someone who finishes in the top 20 under the current player impact program PIP, and players who finish in the top 20 under the revised PIP criteria. So it's not just all about who's got the most points, who's got the most whatever. It's going to be a lot of social media driven, giving back, whatever. You're a top player, which is a very ambiguous term, is just going to be the top 20 guys. They're going to be designated. They're going to have chances for more rewards, things like that. Thoughts, comments, official naming of a top 20 of top players. What you got?
Hopefully we'll get a little bit more direction on the PIP, because last time the PIP was just like we never even got the actual announcement. Like we just heard about who won. So I think we need to really lock in on PIP. I like where their head's at, but we need to kind of.
It seems to me like it possibly could even be more ambiguous than the previous PIP, because I think they're going to take away a lot of the it just seems like they're going to take away a lot of the stuff that you can actually track, and it's just going to be kind of like
it's just going to be the 20 guys that they like the most. Like
I assume.
Remember when
Tiger and Rory are just going to have a draft and just do whatever 20 they want to be in there?
Remember when the college football playoffs were just like Condoleezza Rice and like 10 dudes in a room being like, yeah, I think it should be Alabama and oh hell, LSU. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, what's crazy?
It's still that way.
What's crazy is the PIP, like half of the dudes in the last PIP are on the Live Tour now. So like that's the criteria. I mean, if that's how you designate your top player, like then that means like half of the top players from last year are not on the PGA Tour anymore.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's kind of weird. We'll have to see how that plays out. I hope it's more transparent. I hope and then like maybe, you know how on the playoffs it does the projected up, projected
Yeah.
down. Maybe you get a little bit of that
Yeah.
mixed in. Like if so-and-so does this and does 50,000 retweets, he could jump into the top. I mean, I don't know. I just think it needs to be more, maybe it needs to be more, a little more transparent. But there's going to be crazy rewards.
If Tiger posts a boo pic of himself, and be like, he was number one, and now he's still number one.
Yeah.
Number one, yeah. But that will lead, if you're in that top 20, that leads to unlocking a lot of opportunities to get more money. So number 2 is kind of defines a little bit more. The player impact program is getting jacked up. Okay. So now you got, you know, before you had 10, now you're going to have 20 guys who can get the money. And the money started off from 50 million. It's going to 100 million, which essentially is just you double the field, so you double the money effectively
Right.
immediately. So that means the 2022 list this year will pay out 100 million to the top 20, top quote unquote top 20, whatever they define that as. And here's a little bit of what they say they're going to define, how they're going to define it. They're going to change the some of the PIP scores. Q score and social media will be removed, and awareness criteria will be expanded, whatever that means. It's not completely clear what the scoring system means, but Monahan referenced the speed with which the social media landscape changes as one reason for the shift. So you got to receive the PIP bonus, players must compete in, this is another term you're going to hear, elevated events plus 3 non-elevated events, Okay. So money jumping up from 50 to 100 million. The field jumps from 10 to 20 to become one of those players. Ton of money on the line.
I thought they weren't doing it for the money.
It does seem like they're sort of they sort of shot themselves in the foot with that comeback. Doing it for the money.
I mean, well, we'll get there. But I do like that that you've got to play in the elevated events, which they all do already, right? They're already playing
For the
Memorial,
most part.
Honor Palmer. Yeah, I mean, but yeah. But now you might get JT at the Punta Canas, you know. Now you might get John Rahm at the John Deere, you know. You might get Johnny R at the Johnny D. So
Yep. So let's
could
talk
be
about
really big for that.
Exactly. So you're going to hear this term, elevated events. Okay. That's what they're going to talk about, elevated events, because they've sort of signified what the goal is. They want major fields more often. They want more of the best players to play together more often. Players set their own schedule. They kind of do whatever they want to do. Sometimes it hits right. Sometimes some events, they're just always going to be big, like Riviera and stuff like that. Like they're just always going to be big. But they wanted to create what they called elevated events. And they're going to, what that means is there's going to be 12 quote unquote elevated events, which will have average purses of at least 20 million and will feature all 20 of those quote unquote top players in the PIP as long as they're qualified for the event. So I think the Live Tour events, there's like 25 million on the line, and there's only 48 guys or something like that. So this is a little bit different, but it's getting the money closer there.
This goes to 60 guys at 20 million.
Sure.
Right.
So, well, I don't know if is that the expanded season at the end?
I think I read that it is 60 guys, 20 million. Because that was the thing is people were like, well, that's the exact same as Live. It's 48 guys and 25 million. So
I don't think they're going to do 60 guys only in these. I think that's the extended season. We'll get there.
That's the new World Golf Championship series.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what the 12 elevated events are going to be. The 3 FedEx Cup playoff events automatically, boom, purse goes ways up. If you qualify it and you're in the top 20, you're obviously going to be in it. The Genesis, which we said Riviera is always going to be big. Arnold Palmer, the Memorial Tournament, Jack's Tournament, Match Play, always an awesome tournament. Century Tournament of Champions, interesting because that's all winners How does that work? So they're going to, is that format change? I
Great
guess
tournament.
It is, and we're about to find out that the format changes. And when we do, I'm going to go to Ben's house, and if he says a damn word about his bullshit a couple years ago, I'm going to kick his ass.
yeah. So we get to
Great tournament. Great tournament.
We get to, once it's changed to, it's no longer you can win twice. If you, it's just now you're in that top 20 or whatever, because it's got to change because not all those guys will have won. And then 9 through 12 will be 4 additional elevated events. They haven't really named which ones they'll be, of at least $20 million purses. So,
hey, real quick, let's throw out
ahead.
some potential Doral.
Doral, they don't play there anymore. So
Players.
No, the players is included in that. I think.
players is already included. Yeah. So
trying to think of some other, premier.
You mentioned Memorial. Did you say Arnold Palmer Invitational?
yes,
RBC. That's always a
probably
big
I would
one.
think Scottsdale,
Scott's-
TPC Scottsdale.
Yeah,
the late-
Phoenix,
TVC
Phoenix,
Scottsdale.
big February event.
Well,
huge
just about
February
any
event.
kind of TPC event. I mean, any sort of any event that's played on like a TPC course.
maybe Pebble Beach.
Farmers will be there because it'll be at
Yes,
it
Yeah.
will be at
Torrey.
Farmers is a
Torrey.
good one, but you got to try and spread them out a little bit on the
Yeah, those are front loaded. So you'll
'cause you've
get
got
sort of
Genesis.
what was that tournament they used to play? Like they used to play at Firestone at some point in time, and I don't
I
feel like
thought it was a WGC event. I thought that was a
yeah. And for whatever reason, I don't feel like they
Harbor
do-
Town could
Tiger
possibly be
won it like a
after the-
zillion times. Yeah, Harbor Town's a good option there. Those are
Yeah.
all high profile tournaments that tend to bring big fields anyway. And I think that's what they're gonna do.
any sort of
is,
sponsored tournaments up in the Northeast. It's either in Jersey, New York, or Boston. They always, no matter what it's called, whatever spot, the players always show up for those. I think it's just
Right.
because of how big the market is. So whatever that
So
may
the
be.
Travelers.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Travelers.
Travelers is right.
Travelers could give Kyle what he wanted, man. That could be one of the #1 tournaments on tour. He's been talking about that. Gotta love that Travelers.
Exactly. All right. So moving on, number 4, we will see the top PGA Tour, the top guys at least 20 times in a season. Awesome. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. This is it says you get the 12 elevated events plus 3 additional non-elevated events gets you to 15. Then there's the Players Championship and the four majors. So that's your 20 that's your 20 tournaments where you're going to have essentially some of the world's best all in the field every
So
single
was
time.
was that something that got deemed by Monahan or something that they came together as? Because that was another reason that we see guys going live is their 13 max tournaments.
We have no idea.
No idea. It's just
And some of them have said that they one reason they went, I mean, they avoided the money conversation, but they were like, I have to, I get to play less and make, still make more money.
But here's the thing. He's not asking for, he's asking for.
No, I get it. I'm just saying you get 52 weekends a year and now 20 of them are going to be promised out to these guys. I love it. I love the fact that we get to see 20 of the top golfers. That doesn't bother me at all. I'm just saying some of the golfers, that's been their complaint, has been their requirements for what they have to play in. And so I'm just saying, I don't know if that was something that got handed down by Monahan that said, this is what we want. And they okayed it, or they came back with a rebuttal and said, God, 20's a lot, because they're, going to knock it down to 16 or something of that nature. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, seeing how the
right.
Like how the rules went, like behind these closed doors and behind all this, like all of it shook out in basically the last 2 weeks, it seems like.
Right. Right. So that's how the tournaments will work. You get a bunch of the world's best playing 20 times a year. Heck, that's almost half the year. That's almost one every other weekend. I'll take it. Number 5, this is huge. All fully exempt tour members will get $500,000.
Yep.
Okay. So what that means is
It does work on a draw.
It does. And we'll explain that. So if you are exempt, or if you have your PGA Tour card, you're going to make $500,000 every year as long as you have your PGA Tour card. Nate had a key point. It will work on a draw. So if you go out and for a year's time and you make $600,000 in prize money, that's all you're going to get. You don't get $500,000 on top of it. On the flip side, let's say you have a bad year and you only make $300,000 in prize money. They're going to fill the gap. You're going to make $500,000 regardless. The problem is if you only make $300,000 on the PGA Tour, you're probably not going to get your card again on the next year.
Right. And let me tell you who this benefits the most. And it's a small group of people, and it won't cost the PGA Tour very much. It's the Smiley Kaufmans. And I'm not mocking him. I'm just saying somebody who wins gets 2 years of status and then all of a sudden falls off the face of the PGA Tour and starts missing cuts. Think about it this way. You win a PGA Tour event, you get all that money, you get your 2 year exemptions, and those 2 years, you got guaranteed money. You get $1 million over the next 2 years. So I think that's who's going to benefit from it the most. Now, the other guy benefits from it. He wins 500,000, but then maybe doesn't get his tour card the next year.
The other guy that benefits from
retain
is the
his tour
caddy.
card.
The caddy that's not getting paid jack if they miss a cut.
Yeah, well, they're guaranteed basically 50 grand. So that's, I think the players, this helps the most. And I think this is what helps the PGA Tour versus the Live Tour a lot is these younger guys that, think about all the dudes that just got their card. They're going to have to turn around and go to Bermuda. They're going to have to turn around and go, and they've already spent a crap load of money going all over the world playing on the Corn Ferry Tour. You got to come out. You can entice a caddy. You can help give a caddy a guarantee, lock him in, and then you're going to make $500,000. I just feel like when you got travel expenses and all the stuff, first starting out, you don't got a big bankroll. It's huge. I think this is huge. I think this is possibly the best thing that they did out of all of it. And you get it all up front too, if I'm not mistaken. Once you get your card, you just kind of get all most of that, up front, which is I feel.
But then you'd be required to pay it back if you won more than on the draw?
No, you just don't get. I think they would just, how like if you win a tournament, the PGA Tour hits you with that direct deposit on Wednesday. So I think it would just kind of take it, like, in other words, that first tournament you win $100,000. I don't think you're going to get $100,000,
but you only earn the whole 400 then. Yeah, okay,
exactly.
One guy that this is going to benefit, because
head on over to BetOnline AG when you get that 500 grand.
He brought up, the travel and the expenses. It was James Hahn, and the reason he did is because the highest he's ever finished was the Sony Open in Hawaii. He finished second. That's the only time he's ever come close to winning. So he's going to be able to benefit. He's a guy that's keeping his card year in and year out. But after being on tour since basically 2016, his total earnings are just under 12 million. So, I mean, he's 40 years old. That 40-year-old guy that we talked about needs to be considering Live, because they're in that phase of not being able to go to the senior tour yet, or the champions, tournament of champions, tour of champions or whatever. And they're probably not going to win in their 40s. So they're not going to get any big checks. I think it's going to benefit those guys as well.
For sure. Speaking of benefits, guys, let me tell you about a really big benefit you need to check out, and that's Swannies.co, and use the coupon Dadbod Golf Pod -25 and take 25% off literally every order that you ever want to make. I got the Swannies hat on. I got the Blaine polo on tonight. And let me tell you what's coming up. The freaking September quarterly box. I can't wait to get mine. Ben can't wait to get his. Nate can't wait to get his. It's $79. You get seasonal pieces. Plus, I looked, and I got to remember, I need to look up the sponsor that they partnered with. But basically, it's like custom shoelaces for your golf shoes is what who they're partnering with. I cannot think of the name of the company. We'll tag them in the show when we get done. But $79. Use your coupon code. You get it for like $64. It only comes 4 times a year. You cancel anytime, and you got plenty of time to think about when the next one comes up. If you don't want to get it, if you want to cancel, it's like no risk, super good opportunity to load up with good seasonal styles from Swannies, and they have literally all the seasons absolutely nailed. And we're going to get one coming, and we're going to open it and share it with everybody. But be sure to go online, use that coupon code, and save big. Swannies.co. It's where golf fashion starts. Okay, so clarification, that number 5, that's only for people that are fully exempt. In other words, you have 100% playing status, you're exempt into every single event. If you have partial status, you don't get that $500,000. Okay, so but what you do get, and I think this is great, if you get your PGA Tour card and you still have to earn your status, number 6 says there'll be stipends for all other tour members. Now, it's not huge, but Shout out Pat Perez. I feel like Pat Perez I feel like this is the Pat Perez rule. Those who aren't fully exempt but still have PGA Tour status will receive a $5,000 stipend every time they play an event, even if they miss the cut. So
I thought it was only if you missed the cut.
playing
But
an
it was
event.
like
I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yes.
They will, which that makes sense because they wouldn't need a stipend if they made the cut.
Right.
A $5,000 stipend every time they play an event and miss the cut, which
This-
won't affect tournament purses, but will subsidize their travel and tournament related expenses. I think that's great. Especially they asked a player who finished somewhere outside of the 125 in the FedEx Cup what he thought, and he said, it's not a lot, but it's definitely little perks that can and will help. So I think that's big. What do you think? Should it be good? I mean, good.
That is a huge pressure reliever. I think the amount's good. I mean, the amount's arbitrary. Like if it's 3,000, if it's 7,000, it's 5,000. Yeah.
It depends on how you're traveling.
Be frugal and you can make a little money. Maybe be frugal and spend $4,000, and that's just cash money earnings right there, brother.
If you get cut, you should be able to get anywhere in the United States and stay 5 days for $5,000. You know what I mean? Pay for your entry fee, and you know what I mean. So like
you and your caddy.
Yeah, you and your caddy. So you should be able to handle that, which I think is great. And then if you make the cut, you're gonna essentially probably double that $5,000 at worst. So I like it. I think that's good.
I think Pat's number was $7,000, but he's a little more bougie than everybody, so maybe that's why he needed the 7.
Yeah.
But I think 5,000, especially when they do like West Coast swings. I mean, they literally can get in a van and drive somewhere.
Yep.
I mean, that's not optimal. I know they'd love to get on a plane, but still, it is what it is. If you're trying to say, they've done this to help you, take advantage of it, bank some of that money if you can, and then make some cuts, bub.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, get a nice Honda Civic, sleep in the back of it.
Yeah,
and do it for like $1,200, and then boom, you've got profit.
Tell you what sleeps really good. Armadas.
I've seen a Honda Civic. You can fit a whole squat rack in it. Just
yeah, that was actually a Honda Accord because I bought that Honda Accord, the one you're speaking of. But
that's true. Shout out Blaine Barber. All right,
let me tell you, hey, missing cuts could become a lucrative business for us.
You only get
to say, hey, what do you do for a living? Say, I miss cuts, brother. Hey, smiley Kaufman, good to meet you.
I miss 52 a year.
Making $5,000 a week, though. Got that going for me.
Yeah.
I've got 497,000 miles on my Nissan Armada, and there's a bed built in the back of it.
Love it. Yeah, you don't get very many years of that though. You kind of got to make a few cuts. Otherwise,
I bought it off a rental company. There's a little story behind it about Tiger Woods getting in a little accident.
Oh dear. Move on quick. Number 7. The Tour Championship has some extra juice, which I thought about this. I want to ask y'all. And I'll tell you what, I'll wait till we get to talk about the Tour Championship. Okay, so the Tour Championship has some extra juice. So making it to East Lake will now mean you get a 2-year PGA Tour exemption. Okay, so you make it to one Tour Championship, essentially you've made $1 million guaranteed. So you're going to get 2 years of exemptions. Boom, that's $500,000 a year. Boom, boom, for 2 years. You just guaranteed yourself $1 million, which I think.
And the minimum. The last place guy gets $500,000 at the Tour Championship.
Yeah, so there you go. $1.5 million you've guaranteed yourself over the next 2 years. That's freaking phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal.
Plus, but I don't know that
if
does
you
a
are
lot
in
for
the
that doesn't do a lot for the guy that's like we were just talking about though. I mean, every one of those guys that are there in Atlanta this weekend if they didn't win, they've had a bunch of top 10 finishes.
Yeah, I was going to say if to get to the top 30, you probably have to have earned about $2 million.
Yeah, I would say you had to win a couple of $1 million in order to.
All I'm saying is you guarantee yourself.
Absolutely.
Not guaranteed.
You know who it does good for is he won, but like a JT Poston who's in the Tour Championship for the first time. It's a big deal.
Exactly.
That's Homa. He's in there for the first time this year.
You're not guaranteed. Scott Stallings makes a ton of money because he's always going to be somewhere around 20.
True.
So, but you're guaranteed, like you're not guaranteed to play good. You could get an ingrown hair in the top of your butt crack and be out for weeks, and that could
that's an issue.
Yeah, it must be something in the water over there at the St. Andrews.
Anyway, I think that's cool. You also get an exemption. You just make it to the tour
Ingrown butt
championship.
hair or the money?
Not the money. If you just make it to the tour championship, you get an automatic exemption into the Century Tournament of Champions. A full slate of 500. So at the tour championship, everyone's a champion. In turn, the Century Tournament of Champions will have a full slate of 550 FedEx Cup points, the same as the Genesis Bay Hill Memorial. That's not been a thing before. So that's big. You automatically get in. Usually that's reserved for winners only. So it's kind of cool. All right. Number 8, get to 20 wins and you're a lifetime member. This isn't a change that will affect many people. In fact, I think it only affects one for now, and that's Rory McIlroy. But you get to 20, you're a lifetime member. So you get to play, I guess. I don't know exactly how that works.
Yeah, that's like when you work for a big company and they say, hey, if you sell this amount of advertising, we're going to give you a bonus of 50%.
We're going to give you a pink Cadillac if you sell $5 million worth of Mary Kay shit.
I mean, like you just said, you got one guy that's eligible for that right now. Come on, man. Make it a little lower.
That one to me was like, you'd save that one for last. Like that was your final, like, excuse me. That was your final. That was your final. And last but not least, boys. 20 wins, member for life.
You're in.
All you boys that are making $5,000 a week, you don't have an effing chance.
So you 3 dudes who are sitting on 19, cheer high and let her fly, boys. You're so close.
You're so close. All right, and then this is the last one.
If I get 20 wins on the PGA Tour, you're never going to see me again. I don't want to be a lifetime member of anything except for the Bahamas Yacht Club.
I mean, how many guys are not already lifetime members that having like 12 or 13 a win a year? That's still a great career.
It's an unbelievable career. Sometimes a win is close to getting you player of the year. If you
why didn't he just go ahead and guarantee that they get to 20 wins, they're automatically in the friggin' Hall of Fame? Like that's Hall of Fame numbers.
It is. It does seem sort of out of reach for most people. This is the last one I'm going to talk about because I think, and then we're going to pivot to what we think about the whole list. So number 9, Live Pros won't be coming back anytime soon. So basically he was asked, with all these new changes, theoretically, you're going to expect some of the Live guys to be like, maybe I want to go back to the PGA Tour now. And Jay Monahan says, nah, that's not happening. Not happening anytime soon. I think this is a mistake. And let me tell you why. You want to cripple the Live Tour? You want to cripple the Live Tour? Say, look, we're going to enact all these changes. We're going to basically start paying a lot more money. We're sorry. We're going to give you 2 weeks, figure out your contract deal, and you can come back, cripple the Live Tour by accepting the players back and giving them more money. I mean, you shut the Live Tour down, in my opinion.
No.
You don't think so?
I completely agree with you.
No, that is no. All right, so I'm going to pivot to what we're going to talk about. There's 2 things real quick. Hear me out on both of these things. First of all, the Live Tour, except for Cam Smith, the Live Tour has not taken anybody that's not like replaceable. Like they haven't taken the John Rahm or the JT or the Zalatoris
Dustin
or
Johnson's pretty
Morikawa. I think Dustin Johnson's on the back end of his career. I'm pretty sure that Dustin Johnson, we've seen the best golf that Dustin Johnson's ever going to play.
He's also undefeated in the Ryder Cup, so you need him on that.
Not anymore. But
exactly. That's
here's
what
the
I'm
thing:
saying.
is now you have a superior product. So if you went to the Live Tour, you made your bed, and now you got to sleep in it because now the PGA Tour, with what they've just done, with that list that you went down, finally, after flailing and making themselves look like bumbling idiots for the last few months, they today established a superior product, and you don't get to come back anymore. Absolutely not. No, you sued us. You don't get to come back. You sued us.
Yeah.
You don't get to come back.
How can you keep them from coming back when they finish out their 2-year career? You telling me that DJ or Cam Smith can't go to Q school and get back through and earn their card?
Don't need them.
I guess
because there's 25 more Will Zalatoris coming through the Corn Ferry Tour right now that we're going to want to watch. And by that time in 2 years, we're going to be telling DJ to kick rocks. And as much as I hate to say it,
so when
2 years, Cam Smith is going to go mow his yard for the rest of his life.
But I'm saying, what about maybe? I'm just playing devil's advocate. In 2 years, how is Jay Monahan, who may not even have a job in 2 years, going to be telling these guys that nope, I understand that you went through the U.S. Open qualifier like everybody else, and you should be playing the U.S. Open, and you're not employed by Live anymore.
He can't do that anyway. You can't say.
In the
that's
U.S.
what I'm-
Open, maybe.
but that's what
yeah.
he's saying.
In the
He's
U.S. Open,
saying they're not coming
are
back.
they going to do that? Are they going to
No.
stoop so low to do local qualifying at the U.S. Open?
I don't think that he's saying. I don't think that's a relevant.
He's just basically saying as long as they're playing live, they can't play
PGA
this.
Tour.
So he's
PGA
not-
Tour, not
Yeah.
majors. I guess they could still. That's up to the majors,
Okay.
not the PGA Tour. That's just up to the majors.
But is he still saying that they can't qualify for the PGA Tour by going through Q school? They can't do that either.
I can't
No,
come
he's
back.
not going to let him into Q school.
No, I mean, you.
Wow.
They can choose whoever they want to. They could tell you no, you can't go through Q school. Like I don't think it's going to work that way. I think they're done. I personally think if you want to, because I don't think the money is ever going to go away. What's just going to happen is the Live Tour is just going to say, okay, we're just going to pay more money. They're about to pay Hideki about $500 million. Hideki Matsuyama, which may not be a huge name for the PGA Tour, but it's a gigantic name for Asia.
Oh my gosh.
And they're just going to ramp up the money. So if you just said, hey, look, we're going to give you a 2-week, 14-day grace period, get your contract stuff figured out, pay your money back, whatever you want to do, come on back. And we'll let bygones be bygones. It's a better product now. We're going to take care of you financially, blah, 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 blah. You cripple the Live Tour. You cripple the Live Tour.
What if they do that and Live Tour's like, all right, 300 million. Okay. 400 million.
They will.
500 million.
They will, but I think it gets to a point where if you don't get official world golf rankings and you can't get a TV deal, money, it's got to be the right person for it to matter.
Yeah.
When the PGA Tour is offering so much guaranteed money now. You know what I mean?
It's been the right person. And like Cam Smith is going to Live Tour knowing full well that he may not be getting, official world golf ranking points. I just think that the PGA Tour, it's the same reason you don't negotiate with terrorists. That's an extreme example, but it's it. The PGA Tour, like, if they want to come back, then clearly there's something the PGA Tour has that they want, right?
Yeah.
But you just don't get to. You don't get to leave the PGA Tour.
I think
sue the PGA Tour and then come back.
It's an argument. I'm with you. I think there's some value there for the PGA Tour. There's some guys they could take back and cripple the Live Tour. So I don't know. We'll see it. Overall, what's your thoughts? Ben, overall, real quick, thoughts on the changes. Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think? What's your overall?
I mean, overall, it's if you got to do if this or that, if it's good or bad, then you got to say that it's good. I don't think it's where it needs to be. I think that there still needs to be some work that's put in on it and some more things explained. I mean, just going back to the first three scenarios that you talked about. I mean, we still don't know how the damn ranking system is going to be, and nothing against that because that's fine because you're still going to get 20 great golfers. But what about 21 and 22? What if they deserve to be in that top 20? And we don't have a rhyme or reason why they're not. I mean, what if one of the hottest golfers that's on tour doesn't get to be in the top 20 because he didn't have enough Twitter followers? I mean, I don't know. And so I wish they would at least, like Nate had said, I think that some hard rules need to be set on this whole pit thing. And
just
it needs to
transparency.
And it needs to be public so everybody's on the same page. Hell, they were players last year. Like, I don't know, man, I'm posting as much as I can and hopefully I get something out of it. I don't know.
It needs to be like the Dancing with the Stars
where we like just have a show and you just vote,
Yeah.
Top 20 guys text in like, oh yeah, like JT, text them to 97342. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
like
exactly.
Did y'all ever vote for American Idol when you were younger?
Yes.
Lori did.
Did you ever call in?
Bo Bice, baby. Bo freaking Bice, my
Ruben
boy
Studdard.
from Helena, Alabama.
I voted for Ruben Studdard. I called in for Ruben Studdard a few times.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I love it.
205.
Yes. Yes.
Oh wow, that's a name that I didn't know I needed to hear tonight.
Yeah.
I love Ruben Studdard, man.
Taylor Hicks. My wife was all about some Taylor.
Yeah,
Hicks.
Taylor. Hey, Alabama had a little run there.
We had Alabama had a dominant run.
We had Ruben Studdard,
Alabama
Bo Bice,
owned
and Taylor
American Idol.
Hicks.
It was Alabama Idol. Let's call it what it was.
Ruben Studdard could have eaten Taylor Hicks.
One bite.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Ben.
And on top of that, too, the whole I love what they're doing, treating these guys that are fringe guys, giving them some money so they don't go broke. And I know that everybody goes, they're pro golfers. They can't go broke. Yes, they can. I can tell you right now, they can go broke, and they end up hustling on the side at some country clubs, like at Mountain Brook or somewhere like that. So I'm telling you, it can definitely happen. And that look on Nate's face. So I think that's headed in the right direction. I love the fact that they're putting more money out there. You got to think, if you're a pro, well, this kind of sucks. I mean, you don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but you want to go, see, I knew they could have been paying more money all this time.
What did you just say?
Like
what did you just say?
Look a gift horse in the mouth.
You never heard that one? I don't know what a gift horse is, but I've heard the expression.
So horses bearing gifts.
I mean, what does that mean? Like horses don't bear gifts.
In other words,
in other words, you're trying
Nate's showing his age.
You're showing yours.
If someone brings
you showed first.
If someone brings you a gift, you accept the gift. You don't
just accept the gift. You don't bitch about it.
Yeah.
And like you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You're no gift to me, Ben. Just kidding.
He was given. And so I think that I do wonder if there's some dissension there where they're like, man, they could have been doing this all the time. They could have been paying us a lot more than what they already have. But they also have some perks that other people don't. I mean, we talked about that pension plan that they get, once you get on tour. I mean, that's something that's, that's pretty impressive. I didn't even know they had that until all this live crap started coming about in PGA Tour. There was sponsors like, we have a pension plan. I had no idea. So, I mean, they got that already in place, but it should be interesting to see. I'm interested to see the Hideki's. The people get paid $500 million, so they still look at the PGA Tour and go, you know what? Still leaving.
Yeah. So here's my question. Do the guys that were so outspoken and talked about, I kind of hinted at this, talked about the money. It's all about the money, blah, 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 blah. All these guys are doing it for the money. Do they owe these guys an apology?
They're not going to give it to them. I think I think they should.
Should Phil be owed an apology? Maybe he went about some things the wrong way, but it's hard to say.
I don't even know, Kyle. I don't even know if it's an apology, because he did show his ass as much as it is a thank you, because this got the PGA Tour to moving and scrambling and fixing some things that needed to be fixed. It sounded like for a while. This is the kind of stuff that gets talked about behind closed doors that the public doesn't hear about. And once Live started, now all the stuff's coming to light, and it's like, oh, okay, so not everybody was happy. Like we thought all these guys were wearing fancy clothes, playing golf for a living, and had the greatest time in the world and living it up. Apparently, that's not the case. So I do like that, and I think they should get a thank you, not necessarily an apology, because some of these guys stuck their foot in their mouth.
Sure.
I'm gonna take this from two perspectives really quick. From a fan perspective, it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
We want to watch the best guys, the guys that we know. We want to watch them as much as possible, right? We don't want to watch the Punta Canas. We don't. Nobody does. Okay. So we're going to watch them all in our favorite tournaments, at our Rivieras, at our Memorials. And then we're going to tune into the Punta Canas, because a couple guys are going to be playing in that one. And then it seems to me, from the player's perspective, there's more money on the table. Those guys want to play against the best, right? They want to be in stacked fields. I mean, don't those guys want to be in stacked fields?
Yeah.
So they got to play 20 events, but that's it. You got to play 20 and then you take 32 weeks off. You play 20, you take 32 weeks off. I know, they're redoing the season. We haven't really talked about that a whole lot, but the season is kind of becoming more of a true season instead of this awkward
wrap-around thing.
We have like 6 weeks off at Thanksgiving and Christmas. So play your 20 events, play them well, tons of money to make, and go home. Fans win, players win. Are there things that we can keep improving on? Sure. But I think they finally have they're taking all the resources and they've turned it into a superior product. And it is now.
That's all it took. That's really all it took, which is.
But let me ask you this, Nate, because you keep saying it's a superior product. Is it superior because it's going to be televised and right now Live isn't? What if Live has a TV deal? Does it then is it still superior, or is it superior by players just because they got better players on the PGA Tour than they do the Live Tour right now? But as far as a product, like watching it, I mean, do you turn over to Live and watch it on a Saturday instead of watching the John Deere Classic? Still
a little bit of a signal issue.
Be able to get myself to watch the Live. Like I just it doesn't seem to mean anything. Like the money is cool. It's like, holy cow, it's a lot of money. And like I'm supporting the live idea, but like Sean who won? Who was the last guy to win a live tour event? I don't even
Leishman.
remember.
Did Mark Leishman win or somebody?
And the one before that,
Right.
like Charles Schwartzel won an event. Like
Brendan Grace, maybe.
Yeah, Brendan Grace won the last one.
Brendan Grace. Yeah, I was thinking Sean McKeel. That's old school. Yeah, Brendan Grace wins $3.5 million. Like,
And that's one thing that Liv's got to do too. They've got to get better venues, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I mean, they just lucked out that the PGA Tour hates Trump, so they were able to get the 2 Trump venues. Because Kyle and I, when they were in New Jersey, we were texting back and forth because we were watching it. I mean, it's on the smart TV. You just pull it up, and I mean, it's good coverage. The announcers, you recognize the Fairdies of the world, you recognize the McCords of the world, so they got a good product, and that's why I say, with that product being good and being watchable, if Liv gets a TV deal, is the PGA Tour as far superior?
I still say yes.
right now.
Outside, I still say not. It's not even close right now. Other than the team, I really like the team aspect, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But what do we like? I
I mean,
mean,
to me, I love watching Bay Hill every year because I watch the same. That's why I love the Masters so much. Was number 6 at Bay Hill. It's the one where they might be able to jump it over the water. You know, you're going to get to see the same venues. Harbor Town, love that home stretch. You know, so I think they still have. If you stack them up, the PGA Tour still has the best, most popular.
No, I agree with you.
venues.
I'm just being devil's advocate because I've said until Liv gets the TV deal and they get better venues, the PGA Tour is going to still rule over Liv.
And the Live Tour,
even
better
if they
start
had
having
not-
some playoffs.
Even if they had not changed the money, I still think that it would until they get better venues. I mean, as I just said, we know the 2 Trump courses. Even though they played in Portland, I'd never seen that course before. When I turned it over and watched, I was like, okay. I mean, looks cool, but I have no idea where they're playing.
Yeah, Doral will be the only one we really remember anything about.
So we get, when we get to see Torrey and Pebble and the Live Tour will never be on those courses. They'll never play at Olympic. They'll never play at Torrey. They'll never play at Bethpage.
Augusta.
So, probably never played.
They may
Augusta.
play it like a Shoal Creek though. Maybe one day. You never know. You never know.
Been there.
I don't know. Never. Not touching that.
All right, last
last
thing, guys, you got to get you a Blue Tees rangefinder. We've said it before. We're blue in the face. How about that? Stop paying $600-700 for the top notch features when you can get it for less than $300.
Or
log on
in the
today.
face.
Use coupon code DADBOD to take another 10% off. And save big on this stuff. You get the toggle on and off slope. You get the buzz lock on, the magnet on the side.
How you got to quit saying that. You're just going to
I know.
leave the slope on. We're not toggling on and off.
Well, if you're a tournament guy, you want to play some like legit events, you can't use it. You got that
You're
option.
if you want to be like a just legit golfer on a normal day, that's
Tell them that.
Okay. All right. Check them out. Blue Tees Golf. It's where rangefinders start. Guys, great episode. You got.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done. Let's wrap it up. We got the Tour Championship this weekend. We're going to watch golf. We're going to talk about it. Scheffler played really good today. Got out to a big lead. When you're watching this, it's like I said, second round. Have to see how we finish, and then we'll get together and talk about it. We'll look at some of the holes. It's really cool to watch a course that you've played. Watch guys play on the course that you played. So that's having a lot of fun with that. Y'all have a great weekend. Play some golf. Nate, Ben, we'll talk back on Sunday. I ain't going nowhere. We're gonna be talking back on Sunday.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Glad to be here.
Hey,
You look
back.
good.
Hey, hold on, lift up your shirt real quick.
Yeah, take your shirt off. Let's see if that tan. You get a tan?
Oh, still looks.
looks so good. Wow.
Tell you what.
Hey, I did not get sunburned. I was the most responsible sun bather of the group. I think I was the only person that didn't get just absolutely blistered.
I didn't know that
You
you
went on a 10-year anniversary trip with friends.
Yeah, we had several. So it was three other couples. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
anniversary trips have changed.
Not that kind of
since,
not
you know,
that
my
kind of
parents.
fun.
Yeah.
Not that kind of fun. So anyway, let me get out of here before I get in trouble.
Go to
guys,
church Sunday, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
need
We'll
to,
talk.
sounds like.
We'll talk back soon. Have a great weekend. Play some golf. Dadbud Golf Pod.
Always stroking.
upside down pineapple.
But not swinging.